Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to today's coffee chat. Today, I'm super excited that you're here, that you're joining me because I'm launching something new here with our coffee chats. It's something that really has been percolating in my mind for quite a while because the most common thing that I'm asked just nonstop over and over again is for recipe ideas. People want to know recipe ideas. What should I eat? What do I need to eat? What recipes do I make? Which is a really interesting situation because there's recipes everywhere. I mean, you've heard of Google, right? We're living in a world of Google where anything is at our fingertips, and yet people are asking me for recipes. So I've been thinking a lot about what's really going on. And what I think is that it's not a situation of a lack of recipes. What it is a situation of overwhelm. When you have an unlimited number of recipes at your fingertips, what the heck do you choose to make? It's overwhelming. So what I recommend is to not go on Google, is to actually naturally restrict yourself and go old school. Turn to a cookbook. Develop a cookbook library at your house, in your kitchen, a little shelf, a little cupboard that you turn to again and again. And that naturally limits the recipes to choose amongst. But you want to have a lot of good cookbooks that have recipes that you want to make, that are inspiration, that serve you during the seasons, have quick recipes, that have big batch recipes, etc. So that it's a wealth of inspiration, but not overwhelming in how many. But you want to have good cookbooks in that repertoire. And so what I'm going to be launching, what today is the first day for, is a cookbook review. Every single month, one coffee chat a month, I'm going to be doing a cookbook review. I'm going to be doing an in-depth look through the cookbook, what's pro, what's con, and the summary. I will share with you the final word is whether that cookbook is Kristen approved. Should you get this cookbook? I'll always end with that. And so I'll also include a link in the description box below each time I do a cookbook review, so that if you listen and you're like, that is exactly what I want, that's for me, sign me up, I want that book, you can click through to the Amazon link in the description box below and have it shipping on your way to you. Of course, there's lots of other ways to get them, including popping on down to your local bookstore and supporting them. So, first cookbook review, super excited to be starting this. And when I heard that this individual was going to be releasing a cookbook, I knew that that would be the first cookbook that I would review. So today is a review for, let me grab it, Eat More Plants. Eat More Plants by Desiree Nielsen, fellow dietitian here on the West Coast. And so I want to be fully transparent, full disclosure. I've known Desiree for a long time. We go way back, I'm not going to say how many years, to when we were both still doing our education, training to become dietitians. So I do enjoy Desiree. She is an acquaintance / friend, and so I do have that slight bias towards her book, but I still put it to the test. I still tried a whole bunch of recipes and read through it, and I'm giving you my input on what I think her recipe book is about, her cookbook. Do they have good recipes? Is it worth you buying? So here is what I got into, and I have all of my notes I'm going to be referring to here because I do want to be good and thorough in my review for you. So, first things first, I mean, come on. We all eat with our eyes, right? I don't know if you're like me, but when I pick up a cookbook, I do a quick little zoom through and check out the pictures. And there are beautiful photos in this book. Now, not every single recipe has a photo, but most do. And yeah, totally beautiful. I mean, how stunning is that, right? Beautiful books. Also, I'm a tactile person, and I admit that I really like the paper that Desiree has chosen here. Great feel as you're browsing through the cookbook. So nice looking, nice feeling. Now let's get to the information inside. There's over 100 recipes in this cookbook, and they're broken down into breakfast. There are salads, full meal salads, there's hot entrees, there's side dishes and snack ideas, there's sweets, there are energizing drinks, and there are plant-based staples. Now, this entire book is vegan and gluten-free. So it's a great choice if you need to be gluten-free or you choose to be gluten-free. And it's a great choice if you're vegan, if you're vegetarian, or if you do eat meat, but you're curious about including more plant-based meals, more meatless meals, and you're wondering how the heck to do that. You're a new vegetarian cook. This is a good place to start for you. And so I noticed that overall the recipes go from simple to more complex, and overall I would give this a rating of being for the intermediate cook. You're not a brand new beginner. You can follow a recipe, you're comfortable in the kitchen, but you want to learn some new things, some new techniques. There are some super simple recipes for the beginner, but I would say it's a bit more for the intermediate cook. Lots of quick recipes as well as some bigger batch recipes too. So good for a busy family or a busy single or couple who don't have a ton of time to cook, but sometimes do want to spend a little bit more time in the kitchen. There are lots of simple ingredients. There's also some that are a little more tricky, a little bit more unusual depending on your cultural background. There's things like matcha in there, there's things like rose water in there, but then there's a lot of regular everyday ingredients too. So it's not like you have to go to specialty stores and search out complicated ingredients for every recipe. Lots of them are everyday foods, but there's some interesting foods as well, some newer stuff in here too that you might not necessarily have in your pantry already. As far as kitchen equipment goes, again, intermediate, so you will want to have a spiralizer, you'll want to have a food processor for this cookbook. So it's not necessarily for the absolute beginner, just kind of starting out with like 2 pots and one knife. But again, you're not necessarily getting into like super complicated, expensive, crazy equipment either. So a good kind of middle of the road, intermediate cook is what I would say this is a good book for. Now, I tried a lot of recipes from here, had a lot of fun trying a lot of recipes, a whole breadth of different ones, picked and chose from all the different chapters. And I really found every recipe that I tried to be delicious. I mean, like absolutely delicious. I tried the walnut lentil tacos, super good. Although I admit this recipe, it's like multiple recipes because there are some homemade salsas and different toppings. I skipped that. I just wanted something quick, so I used the recipe for the filler, the actual walnut lentil mix, and then I just topped it with coleslaw and like the bag of coleslaw, the pre-shredded cabbage mixture, and some sliced avocado. So some of the recipes are actually like more than just the one recipe, like you actually get more than the 100 in there, but you can also simplify them too, which I quite like. So the walnut lentils, delicious. I made, the cucumber salad. That is exactly what I want to eat in the summer. It was awakening and refreshing and bright to my taste buds. Yum, I want to eat that like every single week. Thank you, Desiree, for that recipe. The smoothie bowl was really unique and a stroke of brilliance, I would say. There's beet in there, so a great way to include beets. Like I love new ways to include healthy foods that maybe you're stuck in a rut. Maybe you've heard that these foods, you should eat these. You have maybe one recipe in your arsenal for them, but you don't know what else to do with them. You're looking for new things to do with some of these healthy foods. That's a great reason for this cookbook. The beet smoothie bowl there's like a slice of lemon in there too. Really brilliant. What else did I try? An almond ricotta. So it's non-dairy. It's like an almond-based ricotta cheese-ish thing. Uh, Good. I wouldn't say quite ricotta substitute, like exactly ricotta substitute, and I love a ricotta, so fair enough. I set the bar high there. But a delicious spread. I've been using it to top some protein pancakes and I add some fruit too, and it's been delicious. So I really, really like that concept, and I've never done something like that with almonds. Shiitake BLT. Yum, yum, yum. All sorts of umami going on there. Thank you, Desiree, for that recipe. Another thing that was really brilliant was a teppanyaki, but you spiralized sweet potato instead of the noodle. Way more nutrition profile, boosting the nutrition of a teppanyaki, but you get all those familiar, delicious flavors too. So loved that dish. I also did some baking, which is the ultimate test of a recipe book, of a cookbook, because I am not a baker. Baking is not a skill set that I have. And so if I test a baking recipe and it goes well, it means it's easy. I tried two. I did the granola bars, a carrot tahini granola bar that is nut-free and peanut-free, so safe for kids to go to school. Good for a back to school idea. And yep, it was delicious. Got some 2 thumbs up here. I also made the Lebanese turmeric cake. It's like an olive oil cake, very adult flavors, I would say. Delicious. It was like familiar flavors, but in a new way. And so it was like unique and new, but also familiar and just plain old delicious. I will definitely be making that again, especially if I'm expecting to have girlfriends over. I can totally see that for like an afternoon tea or a brunch with the girls, that type of thing. Love that recipe. I also am doing my fermenting for the first time. I've never fermented at home. I do a lot of canning, a lot of pickling, but I've never fermented from home. And because I felt a little nervous around doing that, to be truthful. And I felt comfortable enough with Desiree's recipes. She describes the techniques quite well, so I'm doing that. Haven't tasted it yet because the book is brand new out and it needs to sit for a few days, so I'm looking forward to tasting that recipe, but it was really, really easy to follow the directions. So as you're probably guessing as I'm gushing over the recipes that I tried, yes, this cookbook is Kristen approved. It gets 2 thumbs up, particularly if you're an intermediate cook and you want to be eating more vegetarian, more vegan dishes, or you already are, and yet you're kind of bored with the things that you already make. You eat healthfully, or you have some recipes for healthy ingredients, things you know you should eat more of, but you want to try new things, new ways to include nuts and seeds, new ways to include beans and lentils, new ways to make things like sweet potato or turmeric as a spice, or beets, things like that. You're like, I want new recipes for that. I'm bored. This is the book for you. This is a great cookbook. Congratulations, Desiree, on the publication of this book, on your launch. As I said, I will give the link to purchase that on Amazon below, although I know that it's coming out in local bookstores as well. And it just launched on Tuesday, so if your local bookstore doesn't have it quite yet, it will be on its way. That's the first cookbook review. I'm super excited to be bringing these to you once a month for the next couple of months. If you liked today's video, please let me know. Click the thumbs up button. If you are curious about a cookbook, you've been hearing about one, you've been wondering whether you should buy it or not, let me know if you want me to review it. Include it in the comment section below, and I will get doing that. I have a couple for the next few months already in the queue, already with my sights on them, but definitely want your ideas for new ones. Have a great week. Have a great last week of summer, great long weekend, first week back to school or work if that's you heading back. Have a wonderful time this week, and I will see you back next Thursday morning.